All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome to a Real Crypto Extreme Stream. Are the markets dead? That's what I'm calling it. D's nuts. What's up, buddy? Long time no see. How you doing? You are first. Congratulations. You win the prize. I'll mail it. I'll mail you the prize. I just need to get your country code, zip code, address, flat number. What's up, guys? Fatal Fury, Nick, Ian. Kind of a semi-informal early power hour / extreme stream. I just put out my newsletter, and I had a lot of extra time considering all the carnage in the market. I'm not even going through the altcoins. I think Waves was up 0.6% against Bitcoin, so that still equates to it being lower, and it's just not really worth it. Not really worth it coming in there. BNB and Tron took a nosedive 10 minutes after BTT ICO closed. Yeah, makes sense. I did note that in the newsletter that Tron gave up these two trend lines very, very quickly. Very, very quickly, and on elevated volume. So that means see ya. That means get out of town. Mark says we died. We've been dead, Mark. We've been dead. Nothing's changed. Nothing has changed. Shahab says, or Shahab, excuse me, ETH to $10. That's pretty aggressive. We've got it. We've been talking about the mid 60s in the power hour is the next leg lower for Ethereum. Yeah, I've been around. Akshan, I've been around. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm gonna call you Ak. I've been around Ak. I've just been in the power hour. You know, the markets. I don't put videos out when the market's not really that enticing. I'm real crypto, guys. I'm not, real YouTube marketer savvy guy. So otherwise, I would do videos every single day. I should do them a little more often, but I don't. I'm sorry about that. But I get enough fun in the power hour. And but by the time I get to doing a public video, it's kind of difficult to put it all back in the bottle. I'm not one that does like 15 takes very well. I need like 1 or 2 takes on a video, otherwise I just lose all my train of thought. But the market has fallen apart a little bit. I have another video coming out that I have together, and maybe I'll re-record it, maybe not. Okay, I'll stick with that. What's up, Gomri? How you doing, buddy? Long time no see. You doing good? What up, Ted? Miguel. Double bottom to die for a second time. We could come down here and double bottom. My son James is walking in crying. What's going on, James? All right, guys. Sorry, I'm back. If we close below the 200 weekly, MA nasty things will happen to this market. Yeah, we went over the 200 weekly. Yeah, James is always crying, Pete. Oh, and he's going to eat a pear, apparently. Tweeting me the picture on Twitter. Can you please check this? Think it might go to $10. Yeah, I'll check Twitter. Let's check it out. That's right, Miguel. My kid is correct. My kid is correct about the Bitcoin price. For those of you that don't know, James predicted $1,000 for Bitcoin. And he's probably more right than more wrong.
Wait, Bitcoin is $1,000?
No, it's going to get there, though, James. It's going to get there. I'm looking for the tweet. There we go. Oh, so okay. That's possible. So here's the tweet right there. There's Ak's tweet. And so he's taking this longer term trend line and doing a measured move on the break of this, which takes us down to $10. And he's also looking at this channel. That looks like a valid channel. And yeah, could get down there. We've got a measure. There's a head and shoulders right here. We've got that down to the mid 60s. But in the bigger picture, I don't see a reason why it can't go lower. I mean, this market is far from done. ETH has been extremely weak, and it looks like it's just going to get weaker. So we've been looking at the 114 level in the power hour for, I don't know, a long time now. Probably since here. We had this kind of symmetrical triangle formed, and probably redraw this as such. And then ever since we were up here, we kind of had this neckline and this head and shoulders. So maybe a week or two. I don't know exactly. I'll have to go back and look at it, but it doesn't matter at this stage. It's already been far gone. So 114, ETH was extremely weak, and the volume here should be a little bit higher, but it's not. We'll see how that affects the price action. In theory, you should have much more elevated volume than what we have here. This could just show the market participation evaporating, and I think we've seen that again with us here down in the dumps, people trying to buy low and now realizing that we're probably going to continue lower. It's interesting how as we get closer to the bottom, the whole market's starting to realize the same thing. And then everyone steps aside when the market starts to drop. So that's been an interesting revelation as of late that really changed kind of that 6,000 level above and below. There's that dichotomy of buyers and sellers, where the buyers just aren't very interested and the sellers are willing to step in. Miguel says, I reckon that 31 back in December was wave 3 and we've been on wave 4 correction. We should be about to start wave 5. Yeah, so that's possible. So the video I was going to put out later today or tomorrow was going to discuss, oh, this is ETH, not BTC. There we go. So what I was going to discuss was the fact that we're probably going to head down towards, we may spike low down here, in this area here. When the aliens abducted me last Thursday, it was last Thursday, Flux. Yeah, it wasn't very fun. Wasn't fun at all, as a matter of fact. So, but anyway, so we may get one more base in here somewhere before we end up in the lows. I don't know where that's going to form. Hey, what's up, Go? So this is just a circle. There's nothing technical to this. But breaking out of this, I'm calling this a symmetrical triangle. But breaking down out of this, we could end up with another low. We could end up like this in kind of a more broader wedge type of a situation. Obviously, that's a little bit exaggerated. But maybe not. The fact that we don't have extreme elevated volume coming out of this could point to the fact that we're still in a bigger picture of a larger base. So we'll have to see. But the market kind of really doing what it's supposed to do. Really, the price action is kind of behaving a little bit like we expected in terms of the drop. We figured it may just kind of drop out of nowhere. I will say, though, that looks like these, we had that move, so that move's a little shorter. And I'm on logs, so this is going to get crazy. So this move here, so far, kind of in concert with that initial drop. Maybe we stop at some point around here and kind of reverse. But it's been, the volume hasn't been as accelerated as it should be, I think, for a larger drop. We may get a retracement here pretty soon, but I don't know if it's going to happen right now. We may go lower. The way the market's behaving, I mean, ETH's already down almost 10%, and yeah, just cracking again a little bit more there. So we're definitely going to fall lower before we bounce up. If volume starts to increase, this could just accelerate, and I think that's the main point here. Is it if the volume accelerates? Look at the volume aggregation tool. It's definitely already crossed the threshold for this consolidation above the head and shoulders for Ethereum, and we just broke to the upside here in the VA tool. So, yeah, there's that. Volume accelerating here. If this starts to get much more elevated, then we will sustain a move lower. Let's say Bitcoin down 4%. Looks like we're already kind of testing these lows. Miguel says volume hasn't been strong for a drop, but then for this to look bottomish, you'd expect a strong bounce from bulls. Yeah, so we haven't had much of a bounce at all. We haven't had much of a bounce whatsoever. My volume looks okay on my end, so I'll reply to that. Yeah, we haven't had much of a bounce whatsoever. Here we had some extreme action, and then an immediate bounce, and then a sideways consolidation. So far, you gone too, Ted? So far, we've just kind of consolidated, and we've been drifting, which is not what you want to see. You don't want to see that drift. Ideally, you'd like to see it drop and bounce, but just drifting lower, not so good there. Not so good there. All right, Bitcoin Cash looks like it's dropped out of it. So pretty much everything's dropped. The market's dropped. If you go to the Power Hour spreadsheet list, and what we have is just a sea of red. I looked at the altcoins. I'm like, why am I even going to do this to myself? So I just avoided it altogether. I just think there's too much risk. Single looks like it's making a move. And that's fine if you want to participate in that. I don't really want to go super counter to the market now that we're going straight down. Because keep in mind, like this BLK up 3%, this is basically flat because Bitcoin's down 4% right now. So Wings is negative. So technically this is up a little bit. Hot BTC's up a little bit. ELF is not up on a dollar basis. Waves is not up on a dollar basis. And one of our favorite coins of recent, Link, has just decided to fall off a cliff. And so we exited this one a few days ago, and this is why you exit. This is why you exit right there, because you don't know what it's going to do. When a coin doesn't do what you expect it to do, you got to get out. And I won't go into what we were expecting in Link. That's a long conversation. But those Power Hour members understand what we've been going through here. So, yeah. But Link down a tremendous amount today. One of the biggest losers failing into Blue Sky breakout. And yeah, here we go again. So fun for a live stream, guys. Not too bad. Okay. So we dropped a little bit, bounced slightly. Let's see what ETH is doing. Not quite down 10%, but it is holding a full red candle. Personal Defense says, what about the other altcoins? Would any of them be sustainable, or will everything fall if BTC nosedives to 1,000? Everything will fall. Everything has fallen. Everything will continue to fall. Rimmels got a short position 15 hours ago. Good job. What's up, Upham? Chazar says Link is my favorite, has top 20 coin potential. I actually kind of agree with that. I'm not necessarily going to rank it in terms of top 20, but it has been climbing the ranks as a lot of the market has been falling. Link has shown leadership. So that is good. But as of right now, the impetus is to the downside. And so if you guys aren't shorting, you guys should be stepping aside. That's about it. That's about it. It's probably a little long in the tooth here on Ethereum to short. BTC probably, I don't know if I'd short it right now, but your stop would be about here at the 34.48 level. Kind of the top of this little flag that it put in here. We could bounce up, but we're probably not going to take out any kind of highs. And Ethereum doesn't have any highs to speak of. It's just stair-stepping lower. You have to go to the 15-minute to really view anything, but it hasn't really done anything. It's just small bounces, small bounces, small bounces. Now on the 15-minute here, we have kind of an interesting increase in volume here. A little bit of a bounce with this most recent one. We'll see how that plays out. But so far, no trend change at all on the overnight session. Have a couple of trend lines holding us down. Good morning, Kevin. Long-term scenario for Bitcoin, basically lower. Bitcoin, the long-term scenario is basically lower. I don't know if this is complete, if this is where we fail and we start to fail and go into capitulation, or if we're due, or you know, if we're due another. So let me get that bigger picture back out here. So this kind of feels a little bit still like this action. This doesn't feel like much different. This doesn't feel like a huge drop. So we could recover and then come back up before meandering lower. It's hard to say exactly how it's going to play out. Let's see if there's actually another trend line we can try to infer. And actually, we're going to go off the lows this time. So if you view that as kind of a supportive trend line to the downside, we're still undercutting that. We could come back though. Again, volume isn't really super on the downside. It's a little elevated right here, obviously, but it's not that great. Best platform to short on. So Kraken's a good one. I do still use BitMEX. I just like the higher leverage. I'm able to take less of a, you know, it is a double-edged sword though. High leverage can kill you, but you don't have to use the high leverage on BitMEX. I don't like that Kraken seems to be easier to play games on. That's one thing I don't like about Kraken. BitMEX has its own issues. Every platform has issues. If you do want to check out BitMEX, there's a link in the description. I don't have a link to Kraken. You just go to Kraken if you want to. There is, although if you're a U.S. customer, Kraken, I think you can use BitMEX. You can't use it if you're in the U.S. unless you have a VPN, in which I'm not saying that happens, but if you want to look at a link in my website and in the links, I've got a link to a VPN over there for IP Vanish. We've learned a lot about this bear market cycle. Yeah, you know, it's... So, Shabab, if you're kind of looking for market cycle stuff, I've got my Market Cycles webinar. I'm not sure if you've taken that or not. I will say this about market cycles. They work the same in extreme uptrends as they do in extreme downtrends. Once the trend shifts, you have to shift with it. That can be a little tricky to do. That's always the hardest part, is when trends are shifting, is to understand that it has shifted. And sometimes it's not even completely clear until it's done. So it is difficult to understand those shifting sands, if you will. But yeah, so you've learned a lot in the downtrend. When we shift market cycles, you're going to have to go to a shorter term trading mentality. If we go into a purgatory cycle like we did in 2015, and then outside of that, when we finally go back into bull trend, you're going to have to go into a more bullish mode, and you're going to have to flip that mindset again. So you need to understand how to behave in each of these different market environments. That's the most important part. It's not strictly about I lost my train of thought right there. It's not strictly about the trend, but it's about how to handle the trend. Yeah. Sorry, I lost a little bit of motivation there, Shahab, to be honest with you. I know I need to jump on that horse a little bit more. I know you guys are waiting for that stuff.
What horse?
Not a real horse, James. So Bitcoin bouncing up a little bit. It looks like ETH bounced a little bit too, up about 1% from where we were lower. Nothing major so far. Let's go to the 15-minute. So it is a nice little bottoming candle right there, one of the biggest ones, but we'll see how the bounce behaves. So far, we're still far from any kind of rationality here. Why can't we have a government-funded plunge protection team like the Dow, S&P, NASDAQ, or anything Warren Buffett owns? I think we would blow through a plunge protection team in the crypto markets. It's a global market. It's impossible, I think, to do that. You'd have to coordinate across all the major exchanges. Let's just say there's 6 to 10 major exchanges. It'd be a lot of coordination, and I don't think it's not Bitcoin, man. It's just not Bitcoin. I'm not buying more Bitcoin right now. No, not putting no new money to work. Not at all. Just trying to, make some BTC here and there. I I do have some Bitcoin that I'm hodling in a paper wallet, and that just sits there. I just let it sit there. But I'm not adding any new capital. I'm just trying to, grow my stack a little bit here and a little bit there. I'm not being too aggressive in the bear market as of late. So I'm just kind of holding on. But yeah, so the market here definitely taking on different personality. You can see in BTC we have a little bit of accumulation down here. We have this big bar and these two bars here. This may be enough to maybe reverse us now that we failed to go lower here. We have a green candle. That may be a nice bouncing opportunity. There's a trend line on the 15-minute. So here's that consolidation. So ETH was kind of one of the first, I don't know about the first ones to move, but it moved very aggressively when it moved up here. It started going lower and really never stopped and had very high percentages. Bitcoin not so much. So this is where Ethereum dropped and we're down about 4%. ETH has dropped 10%. So you can see just Ethereum getting with the program, Bitcoin kind of stalling a little bit right here. And so maybe Bitcoin will catch up. I think that's probably the more likely scenario. But in any case, I think this should be your stop if you're shorting this right here about the 34.50 level, something like that. Strategies to put more money into the market: save your cash and then wait for the bottom, because I think we're getting there, and I think we either have one more base or we head right to capitulation. I'm not sure which. But we could possibly, let's go to the daily here. Alt's going back into BTC. That could be, Ted. That could be. But yes, I mean, so if we drop, the 40-50% from here, that would be pretty normal, and that would hold with the 2014 market. We went down 42% in 2 days. I don't know if we quite do that right now. If we're actually looking at getting back to the prior high, I think that's 1150, if I'm not mistaken. And I think we would have to start that from, where is that? I don't remember. Hey, power hour starts in 10 minutes. 42%. If we do that exactly, now we're not going to, keep in mind, but we'd have to beat about 2,000 to drop that far. There we go. We'd have to start from about 2K. So this is why I'm saying we could have one more base before we ultimately get to lower capitulation. If we capitulate now, we probably won't hit the 1,000 mark. We'll probably come down and hit a different mark than the 1150 point. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that one. We'll have to wait and see. We never do get to know what the market's going to do beforehand in terms of the levels. I've been pretty good with my directional predictions. The timing is always the hardest part, and the timing part hasn't worked out well. I don't think anyone's nailed the timing part every single leg of the move. No. Who said, yeah, we're going to go flat in 6 months for Bitcoin? I mean, who said that? Nobody said that. When things break, they should continue. If they don't, then you adjust. But again, like I say at the top of my public videos, we take the market one leg at a time while keeping the market cycle in mind. So if this leg fails, so be it. Then what's the market cycle tell us? Are we changing market cycles after that leg? Not really. So one leg at a time with the market cycle in mind, and that's what we're doing here. So here's our next leg, potentially lower. Market cycle still in a bear trend. So if this leg fails on us and we end up bouncing higher, then look for a short in the top end there. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to get out of here. Thanks for joining me today. I got a power hour to get to. I'm going to talk about a few more things in there. So if you guys are interested in my live streams, you can go ahead and check out my website, real-crypto.com. If you're interested, you can sign up for the power hour under my services. Some of the webinars that we were discussing is over here in my webinars section. If you go to my homepage, right in the front here, you can sign up for our Slack chat room. There's no charge for that. Feel free to come in and feel free to chat. All right, guys. I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.